One of the biggest criticisms I get from the cult of Candace Owens, her minions per se, is that I am criticizing one of the only people who's actually willing to tell the truth about the Jews. Now, of course, she's found a multitude of ways to go about this subject while still making it somewhat seem as if she is not really speaking on the Jews, right? It's always the Frankists. It's always the Zionists. It's always the Israelis. It's always the Netanyahus, right? It's always something else, but she doesn't just come out like a Nick Fuentes and just go, it's the Jews, right? And every single time, my criticism of that, because I've been using, my brain, my criticism of that is, no, Candace is not simply sharing the truth. What she is doing is she is radicalizing individuals into dangerous conspiracy theories that are going to not just be dangerous for the people targeted, but also for the individuals who are receiving these messages. She is filling them up with even more hatred, vitriol. She's filling them up with lies and claims to at the same time be a Christian. Those two things are contradictions. But I think I've finally come across the greatest representation of what I'm talking about. Now, I'm going to share a message from my DMs, a message I received, I believe, it actually says 7:32 p.m. yesterday. And let's just say this is the best representation of what the hell happens to you. Or essentially, as I would maybe say in the title of this is your brain on Candace Owens. This is the end result of tuning into somebody who is this not divisive, somebody who is this dangerous in their rhetoric. She's no different than an MSDNC, MSNBC, and CNNs, etc. when it comes to like narratives about Trump. It's no different. Listen to this. What's the matter with you attacking Candace Owens? And mind you, this is a profile with an actual picture. Let me actually bring that up for you guys so you can read along with me. Might have to cover up some of the words here, so the video actually gets some push. What's the matter with you attacking Candace Owens? She's one of the few people speaking up for the innocent Christians and Muslims. The innocent Christians and Muslims being massacred around the world by guess who? Drum roll, please. Zionist Jews. Now, I do want to take a quick second to address the Zionist word. A Zionist is an individual who believes that Israel deserves to exist. That's the entire definition of a Zionist. I believe that the Jewish people deserve to have their own country. It's like Islamist, let's say, right? Let's say that was the equivalent of, I believe that Muslims deserve to have their own nation. Guess what? Majority of the world has become that, or is that at some level. How do I know that? Because there are upwards to 52, if not 57 Muslim nations, 22 Arabic nations. There's one teeny tiny Jewish nation. So anyway, it is the Zionist Jew who is supposedly massacring the Christians. It's not the Muslims who are slaughtering Christians across the world. So this is actually what they're getting from Candace. Again, this is Candace's fan base. The first words were, why do you continue to attack Candace Owens? Let us continue. Are you not aware that the Zionists did September 11th? There's more. And October 7th. That one took me out right there. That one took me out. They not only did September the 11th, but they also did October the 7th. Again, when you have fallen into the cult of personality, you no longer see the person for who they are or hear them for what they're actually saying. Everything is received. It's what happens to the We have the conscious and the unconscious brain, right? The unconscious is where most activity is taking place. It is where, essentially suggestion comes through, etc. Our beliefs dwell within the unconscious. That's why you can fight with the conscious brain. I'm going to do this, but if you don't seep into the unconscious, it is almost impossible to get anything done. You have to turn something into a belief, and repetition, emotion, things of that nature, seep things into that unconscious aspect, or the subconscious part of the brain. Not necessarily unconscious, but it is It is the equivalent of the rest of the iceberg. Anyway, when Candace is saying things such as, I'm just asking questions, and then she, goes on to state whatever claim it is, she's giving it a subtler approach. So your conscious brain is always on alert. It's always sort of aware, right? It's, let's say, the bodyguard or the bouncer of the ideas that are going to make their way into your subconscious, then form into beliefs that you accept at a visceral level. So what she does is she uses something disarming to say, well, I'm just simply asking a question, right? Shouldn't we be curious? She has that whole, shouldn't we be curious? Right? Then your conscious brain chills out for a little bit. Bouncers get out the way, open up the ropes, and then the ideas seep in. It's interesting how this and this and this and this happened in terms of, September the 11th. Wouldn't you ask yourself how this and this person, that person, again, these are majoritively unsubstantiated claims. They are conspiracies. And the danger with the conspiracy, or the unfortunate part with conspiracy, is that if a person is hell-bent on believing it, they will simply believe it. Their evidence is the conspiracy itself, or the conspiracy theory itself. That's the evidence is the idea, not the actual receipts. And everything else is a narrative formed around that conspiracy theory in order to substantiate it. For example, if I said that, let's say we had green human beings, right? If I said the green humans are the reason why, let's say there's the green humans are 1% of the population. The greens are the reason why 99% of people are poor. Just look at them. Look, the greens, 30% of the greens have more money than everybody else. So surely they're the reason why we're poor. They run these and these and these institutions. Right? So anytime there's, let's say, a story about one of the greens doing something, let's say there's fraud, there's some sort of crime or whatever it is, we will point to it and say, see, I told you the greens are running the world. They're crooked, they're corrupt, they're deceitful, etc. Ignoring the crimes that are taking place within the other 99% of the population. Completely ignoring those. Non-existent. And not even factoring in, let's say, again, the greens are 30% of, the wealthy class or whatever it is. Why are they that? Can we not look into culture? It has to be conspiracy. So when Candace was speaking on, let's say, the success rates of Asians and whites in comparison to Black Americans, she could easily differentiate between cultural differences. These people do something different, and that's why they get a different result. They don't have, this sense of lack of agency, this essential acceptance of lower standards. They have a higher standard for themselves. Culturally, they accept different things. That's real straightforward. But when it comes to the Jews, because there's already, again, a basis for this. This is already an idea that she has internalized. Everything else has to reflect that narrative. It can't be that the reason why many of these Jews are very successful, let's say with the Nobel Peace Prize, 20-something% of them are Jewish, even though they're only, a fractile of a percentage of the population. It can't be because these individuals chose to get into the realms of science. Can't be that. Can't be that. Well, they own all these retailers. It can't be because they made that their path. Entrepreneurship, creating businesses, getting into the industries that would allow for them to do so when they first, migrated in different parts of the world. Can't be that at all. And that's where the conspiracy comes in. That's where it's the most helpful. So again, I'm going to get back to this because there is literally a final line. Can't get any more ridiculous. So they did October 7th is what this guy's saying. False flag operations to further their world domination. Yeah, I put the little clown face there because that's the only thing I can think of. And, to cover up the guy's name or whatever it is. False flag operation. Candace and her cronies have created an environment where fake news reigns supreme because she has tapped into the subconscious, the emotional draw. She's tapped into beliefs that people have already at some level internalized. If not the conspiracy of the Jews, they've been looking for a scapegoat. They're looking for somebody to blame, right? I believe that most people have at some level internalized a victimhood narrative or victimhood ideology or identity. Most people at some level see themselves as a victim somewhere. Now, fortunately, some people free themselves. Most people have not. Most people are dwelling in somebody else's fault. The reason why my marriage fell apart, somebody else's fault. The reason why my bank account is empty, somebody else's fault. The reason why I don't have the career that I wanted, I have to work this, seemingly pointless job or a job that I hate, somebody else's fault. It must be my ex, the lack thereof. It must be my job, must be my boss. It must be my parents. It must be the government. That's the reason why I'm getting the results that I'm getting. It's the exact same thing at a macro level. It must be that group of people. That's the reason why all of us are in the place that we are. It feeds into that. And again, the anti-Semitic stuff has been around since the beginning of damn time. Just open up a Bible and you'll see how these folks have been targeted forever, right? And so now you end up having clown faces like this guy right here. False flag. They did it to themselves. And you know what that allows for? Is the actual adversary and the actual enemy coming in and essentially having a field day with you. Because now you have 10, 20, 30, 40% of your population believing, oh no, it's them that you're looking at the victim, the actual victim in the situation, right? The one who has been perpetrated, infiltrated, attacked, massacred. And you're saying they're the ones who caused it instead of the one who did it. And guess what happens? Because I believe that God is real, this won't happen. But this is what had the potential of happening. Let's say all of America starts to accept the doctrine that the cult of Candace is pushing. Hamas then becomes the victim. Because that's essentially what's being pushed right now on the far left. And, the woke right won't say it, but they're enabling it. So you have all this pro-Palestine, right? All of a sudden, Candace cares so deeply about the children, the babies. And that's, by the way, one of these criticisms that some people have. Well, she's standing up for conservative values. Look, the damn devil can give you a conservative value. It's about the spirit in which she's coming from. And that's showing itself. Back to the point at hand. So Hamas is now sympathized with, oh man, poor Hamas. Oh, they are the victim. Look at this evil, tyrannical. They rule the Jews are running the world. They're the reason why they're doing this to themselves. And so Hamas infiltrates, takes over, wipes them out. Maybe we even help them, right? We should fund these guys because they're taking out the real enemy. They're standing in the way of the real enemy. Okay. They wipe them out. Then they make their way west. Do you know what happens then? It is now your home, your buildings, your family. Uh-oh. Well, it must be a false flag. Well, surely it must be the Jews. They're back at it again. So your actual enemy is right in front of you, but instead you have to go to the conspiracy because you have to keep a sort of a homeostasis with your pre-existing beliefs in order to escape that cognitive dissonance, right? Now they're in your homes, they're taking your children, etc., and all of a sudden it clicks. Oh my God. These people were our actual enemy, and the ones we stood there and saw wiped out were actually fighting our fight. Now what? Now it's too late. Now you are a conquered people, subservient to the actual enemy. Congratulations. That's where your conspiracy got you. And some of y'all may think I'm taking this, I'm dragging it. No, it's too serious. When you live in an environment where you're not used to war, my soldiers out there can attest to this. And I'm a part of the civilian population. So I know that I'm delusional when it comes to what war actually can be, to the extent that things can get to, right? I'm not living in Ukraine, so I can have that mentality. I'm not living in the middle of Tel Aviv or Gaza or whatever. I don't know what it is to have missiles shot into your neighborhood overnight. I don't know what that's like. I know of the stories that I heard, third, fourth, fifth degree of separation, September 11th. I know what it is to have stories and recollections of Pearl Harbor, but to actually have an on the ground attack of that scale. So it's easy for me to sit here and say, well, false flag, false flag, false flag. Then all of a sudden it hits me. Oh, and what if on top of that, the rest of the world who could help us then looks at us and says, well, you know what? I think that America is the actual problem. I think America is the actual one. I think they did it to themselves. False flag. Then they leave you to perish while the propaganda machine is pushing in opposition of you. This is a reality. Outside of a world where you have individuals willing to tell the truth, speak on that truth, and fight for that truth. So Candace Owens and the cult of Candace Owens, this is the byproduct. This is the result of that. It's not one person. These are countless people who are latching onto this, and it's happening everywhere. That's why I have my foot on these folks' necks right now. That's a hyperbole, not in the physical. I don't wish them harm, even though, they're causing real life harm. I don't wish that upon them. And I don't even wish for them to lose their freedom of speech. I want them to be able to express, but now I'm doubling and tripling down just as many out there telling the truth. Shout out to y'all who are doing exactly that. I'm making sure of it. I'm making sure of it. I wish you no harm. I wish everybody no harm. Unless you have harmed another, then, criminal offenses, I pray that the justice system deal with you accordingly. But I believe in the Creator and that perfect justice system. You might not get it right now, but it's going to come at some point. And you're going to have to eat the fruit that you bore into this world. So, Candace, sis, this is what you're creating out here. Just asking questions. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Now, if you'd like to stay around, make sure to click that little subscribe button down there, or you can show some love by going to the description below and clicking on the button titled Buy Me a Coffee. Leave a little something there, or click on the Cash App. Leave a little something here. Till the next time, peace. Aquarius. Where? I've been up for hours, I've been up for days, staring at the ceiling, I've been counting strays, I've been in my feelings, I've been out of mind. I've been getting visions of the other kind. I've been up for weeks. I'm in the count of blessings over count of sheep. I can never be the type to limit when it comes to me. I used to be the pleaser for the people I ain't even need.